28th of February, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Shalom, good morning, Roy.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning. Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Lou. How's everyone today?
Oh, Baruch Hashem.
Good morning, Rabbi. Baruch Hashem, doing well.
Baruch Hashem, very good. Okay, very good. Again, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Samanafti here in Yerushalayim here Zoom. This is our first year in the morning. We're learning Pierke Avos along with Megilla Esther. We're in the second parak of Megilla Esther. I'll tell you where we'll start with Pasuk. And where that will correspond to Avos. Okay. Let's see. Parak base, Pasuk. Yud. Pasuk, excuse me. Pasuk Ches. Pasuk Ches. Right.
Bes Ches.
Yeah, base Ches. Let's see. Who would like to do a little reading? Anyone volunteers this morning? Where's Barry? Barry's not with us at the moment.
Barry is trying to connect. Oh no, we lost him. He must have lost his internet connection. So he should be here any second. But I'd like to read.
Okay. Let's start.
Vayahi behishama devar hamelech v'daso uvehikavetz ne'aros rabos el shushan habira el yad hagai v'tilakach Esther El Beis Hamelech El Yad Hagai Shomer Hanashim. So, and it was that they heard Bihishama.
Yeah, right. V'hi Davar Hamelech. All right. When the king heard this thing, meaning he heard this advice that they were giving him, and he was accepting of it. The daito, and this policy,
and his policy, uvehika veitz ne'aros. I don't know what hikavetz is.
From the word kibbutz, the kibbutz collected. He collected.
Oh.
I had trouble getting in this morning.
Yeah, we missed you. We just started, Barry.
I saw you, Barry. I saw you trying to connect, and then I saw you disappear.
All right, so if you don't mind, I'd like to do the Megilla. Now that I'm here.
I'd like to read today, Barry.
Well, Lou, you've been reading every day for the past 2 years, so I think it's fair that I do the Megilla for another week till we get to Purim. But it's up to the Rebbe. I mean, it's
up to you, Rabbi. You have to pick who's going to read.
Okay, well, let's see. Since Lou started today, I don't want to take it away from him today. Okay, Barry?
Okay. And tomorrow I'll read again. Correct?
If you're here on time.
Yeah. Well, make sure I get on time, Lou.
I'm not in control of your internet. If your connection doesn't work, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's continue on again. Right. So what does this mean? What's that mean? Anybody can speak up now. We're just working out the explanation of the push meaning of the words right now. So what is this?
You're up to Ches? You're doing
Ches?
Yeah,
we're in Ches. We're in Ches right now. That's right. Good morning, Mayor, by the way. Good morning.
Good morning, Chet. Okay.
Parak chapter Bay, second chapter, the 8th pasuk there. Vehi b'shmoya davar hamela. So does this mean that the king heard the thing, or that the people heard the words of the king? Who was hearing what?
They heard the order of the king.
So the king gave an order here, right?
Yep.
The king gave an order with daito, and daito means it's in the king's policy, right?
Yeah.
The English translation that I've got is, so it came to pass when the king's bidding and decree were published, and when many young girls were being brought together to Shushan, the capital, under the charge of Haggai, that Esther was taken into the palace under the charge of Haggai, guardian of the women.
Mhm. Okay, very good.
That's how they put it here.
Yeah, so they collected a lot of the Nairos, the young women, Rabos, many of them, right? The Shushan. Might have been
It says that, excuse me, it says that he gave an order and then a decree,
right.
right? So the commentary I have says that he gave an order, and some people were trying to hide their girls at home, especially Mordecai. So he gave a decree that said, if you don't cooperate, heads will roll. So to
So it was two things, right?
So yeah, so there was a reinforcement of the original order.
Right. Okay. And very good. And they all came to Shushan, right? So okay, let's take a look at Pirke Avos now here in the fourth chapter of Pirke Avos. And it's on page 566 if you have your art scroll edition there, 556, 566, 566, and it's Mishnah Yud Daled. Perik Daled, Mishnah Yud Daled. You have it there, Lou?
Almost.
Okay.
Okay, so it says the Rebbe Yochanan Hasandlar Omer Kol Kinesia Shehi L'Shem Shamayim Sofa Lehis Kayem V'She'ena L'Shem Shamayim Ein Sofa Lehis Kayem. Okay, so Rebbe Yochanan, the shoemaker,
Yeah, that's right. Sandalar, right?
said every every assembly that it is l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven, in the end it will be established, and
it'll endure.
it'll endure. Kayam, it'll endure. But that which is not l'shem shamayim, it's not for the sake of heaven, in the end it will not endure.
Right. So how can we apply this to this pasuk in the Megillah? Right here we have the Iskabetz Hanairos Rabos El Shushan Abira, right? So all these women, these young women were brought to Shushan, and they were going, and the king was going to pick a queen. Right? He's going to pick a queen. Right? So what would you say in reference to this Mishnah Avos? How would you apply this to this Mishnah Avos?
Well, clearly it's not l'shem shamayim.
Right.
He's assembling them. It's not l'shem shamayim. It's for lust. It's for debauchery.
Right.
So
that might not be true. He has plenty of debauchery around. He has a whole harem. So the fact that he wants a queen doesn't necessarily mean that he's short of women. He's got plenty of women
He's
around.
having relations with one woman every night, different woman every night.
Right. So the fact that he wants a queen does not necessarily mean he wants debauchery. He's got all the debauchery he wants. He wants a queen, to have to parade around, somebody beautiful, put on his arm, etc. So he's certainly not short of fulfilling his lust.
So you're saying that he did this l'shem shemayim?
No, I didn't say he did it l'shem shemayim, but he didn't. He may have done it out of being a balgaiva, or he wanted to have a subservient queen, because when he had Vashti was always saying to him, "Yeah, I'm Nebuchadnezzar's daughter, and you're just a beggar's nephew, and etc. I don't have to listen to you." So he wanted to have a queen from among the general population that wouldn't be so uppity.
Okay, yeah, well, definitely he's missing a queen, so it's not nice in terms of the royal family not to have a queen. Like, the king should have a queen, right? That's for the covet of the Malchus. That's for the honor of the monarchy, the sovereignty.
Yeah.
A king should have a queen. As you said, Barry, most likely he didn't have any problem with his biological functions, right? His biological functions were probably taken care of, but in terms of his political and royal position, that called for a queen to be instated.
Right.
We have here two opposites in a way, that all the girls that were there were not for the Shem Shemayim, but Esther was there.
Right.
And Esther herself would have had in her mind that whatever's going to happen, she's going to be she's going to do it for the sake of heaven.
Right.
She may have, yeah.
And very good. That's good. That statement, Roy, is going to be like a bridge to where we want to go now. Now, so when you look at so according to the Mishnah Avos, if it's l'shem shemayim, it's going to be enduring. It's going to endure, and if it's not l'shem shemayim, it's not going to endure. So what? So this kibbutz of women, would you say, looking back, did it endure? Did it not endure?
I would have to say it endured, because she did become the queen, and she did have an heir, and he ended up being positive towards the Jewish people and helped us get back to the temple.
Oh, very, very good. So you see, it did endure. It wasn't completely a waste. Like, you get the Super Bowl. So big deal. They had the Super Bowl a month ago, right? So who cares and thinks about it anymore? Even if you were revved up about it a month ago, who cares about it anymore, right? So the celebration's all over, and the fun and games are all over, and the football season's over, and now they're worried about who's going to win the Stanley Cup, right? So there's not much of it, and there's nothing enduring about that, right? That's gone and over and done with.
Right.
But so we have a certain perspective that we can say this kibbutz of women that Avos decreed should come about did have a certain endurance to it, because through this kibbutz, Esther was chosen to be the king, which led to the whole unraveling of history, as we're going to see. So does that mean that it was done l'shem shemayim? That doesn't mean it was done l'shem shemayim?
What's the it?
Not by Achaz. It was done. Mordechai was the one. The only one besides Esther would be Mordechai. The Achashverosh wasn't thinking about l'shem shemayim. What does Hashem want me to do?
course
It was
not.
Mordechai. It was Mordechai who was connected, so to speak. And whatever his kavanah was, he did it for the sake of Shemayim.
Right. Right.
So-
Right. So we could resort to this is like a wild card. When you learn Megillah Esther, you got a wild card that, as I mentioned before, and we'll mention it again as we go through. Whenever there's a Kabbalah that whenever it's mentioned, the word Hamelech Stam, meaning not Melech Achashverosh, but just Hamelech, it's a reference to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, meaning where there are no names of a Kadosh Baruch Hu mentioned in the Megillah at all. From start to finish, you'll not find one name of a Kadosh Baruch Hu in the Megillah, right? And however, there are times when you see the words Melech Achashverosh, which is a specific reference to Achashverosh himself, the king of Basar Adam, Achashverosh. And then there are references when it just mentions Hamelech. And that's a reference, Pashat Pshat, it's a reference to Achashverosh as well. But it's also a remez, an indication of a reference to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So if you say that a Kadosh Baruch Hu was the one that was being gozer here, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu was the one who was making this decree, and he was just using Achashverosh as his puppet, so to speak, right, to institute Esther as the new queen. So then you could say there was a strong element of L'Shem Shemayim in this, even though Achashverosh himself was only being used as a puppet to decree these things, bring all the women together, and eventually, out of all that, Esther would be chosen to be the queen.
But I have a problem with the idea of calling someone a puppet because puppets don't have free will.
Right.
But so, I don't know what the correct word is, but Achashverosh was making decisions out of his own free will, not being hypnotized, so to speak, into doing something he didn't want to do, or
Right, but
or blackmailed or what. Pardon me?
Right, very good, Barry. This makes it. This is an important point that you're raising. Bechira, free will, it's a spectrum. Free will is a spectrum, right? Free will is not an absolute. It's a spectrum. For example, if you come Shabbos night, this next Friday night, and you're looking at the candles, right?
Yeah.
So a person has free will whether he wants to blow the candles out or not, right?
Right.
Right. But in normal, a person's Yiras Shamayim, a person's a Shomer Shabbos Jew, he exercises his free will, right, and does not blow the candles out, right?
Okay.
But because a person is commanded to keep Shabbos, so the command of keeping Shabbos is in fact really limiting his free will. Also, a person, even tonight, you light a candle, right? Light a candle, and you look at the candle for a few minutes, and then you decide you want to put your thumb, an inch above the candle where it's burning. You want to keep your thumb there for about a minute and a half, right? So you're going to get a very painful experience by keeping your thumb an inch away from a burning candle, right? Especially if it's above the candle when the heat rises, right? So the person's going to be in for a very painful experience. So most people choose to not exercise their free will and don't put their fingers in a place where they're going to get burnt, and they don't expose themselves to dangers, right? So they have free will, but their free will is limited because they know the consequences of the pain that's going to ensue if they keep their finger too close to a burning flame, right? Also, let's say you're driving down the interstate highway. It says their speed limit's 55. Speed limit's 55. You have free will to go 60 miles an hour? Yes. You have free will to go 70 miles an hour? Yes. You have free will to go 90 miles an hour? Yes. Right? but most people probably will stick to somewhere between 55 and 60 miles an hour, right? Not too many people are going to go 70. Very few are probably going to go 90, and even maybe not even one is going to go 100 miles an hour, right? Because they realize the risks involved, risks in terms of personal safety, legal ramifications, financial ramifications of getting a traffic ticket and such. So they realize all the consequences of their speeding, and the rate of speed increases their risk of, as I said, either personal damage, financial or legal damage, and they don't want to take that risk. So because they don't want to take that risk, that limits the exercise of their free will. Their free will exists as an absolute, but the spectrum of when they exercise their free will is limited because of other considerations. So likewise, when Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to use a king as a puppet, right? He's going to use a king as a puppet. So the king has the choice. Paro had the choice to let us go out of Mitzrayim after Makas Dam. Even before Makas Dam, Paro had the choice, the free will to do that, right?
Yeah, but Rashi says that at certain times Paro's free will was taken away.
That's right.
It wasn't so blot like that he was that Paro was making his own decisions, or that he was always controlled by Hashem.
Right. So
how do we understand that?
Okay, Paro was an extreme example of when the pasuk says his salalti. Hashem says he was playing with the Egyptians. He was playing with the Egyptians. That he actually did things that were not normal in terms of a Kadosh Baruch Hu was customary behavior with his brias, with his creations, with his world. Right? That was in order to, as the psukim say openly, he wanted to create a greater Kiddush Hashem. They would say that we should more miracles, and it should make a greater impression upon Klal Yisrael for all generations. So therefore, the experience of Paro in Mitzrayim was an extreme example. When Kadosh Baruch Hu went to extreme examples to show how he, Kadosh Baruch Hu, and only a Kadosh Baruch Hu, was the true creator of the universe and the true supervisor and maintainer and sustainer of the universe, and the one who does miracles if he wants. So that's a different situation with Paro. But here, for example, you have Achashverosh, right? So Achashverosh, being the king that he is, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu will place in the hearts of leaders to do certain things. They, in a certain way, will have the free will, right? They will have the free will to do it or not. But Hashem knows what they are, in fact, inclined to do anyway. And Achashverosh was not a friendly person to the Jews, and neither politically, because again, as we mentioned earlier, the building of the Beis Hamikdash was a direct threat to his kingdom. Once the Beis Hamikdash would be rebuilt, that would represent a rise in power of the Jewish people once again, and that would directly threaten his political power as king. Number two, in terms of Kedusha, the Kedusha, the building of the Beis Hamikdash would represent a return of a certain level of Kedusha to the world that was lacking since the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. And his aspect was that of not Kedusha, but of Tumah. So that represented a threat of Kedusha over the Tumah. So there were very many different reasons why Achashverosh was not happy and interested in keeping the Jews around, or certainly not having them return to Yerushalayim and rebuild the Beis Hamikdash. Right? The aspect of Achashverosh being a puppet, so therefore Kadosh Baruch Hu used Achashverosh as the medium by which the women would be collected, and the medium by which Esther would be chosen, and the medium by which Haman would finally fall, and Mordecai would be eventually would rise in power. So
And why would Achashverosh or Paro be punished if Hashem is manipulating them through in history? So then they could say, "What do you want from me? You made me do this.
No,
now
so-
you're sending me to Gehenna.
No,
Not
so-
fair. It's not fair."
First of all, we don't see that Achashverosh is punished anywhere, right? There's no mention of Achashverosh being punished, right? Right? He might have hated the Jews very much, but we don't see anywhere that the
Or so take Haman. The same thing with the
Haman,
if
that was a midst, that was because Haman was a Molech, right? Haman was a Molech, so we have a mitzvah to destroy a Molech. So that's why we read Parshas Zachor before Purim, because it's a Purim is a full-fledged depiction of the actual destruction of the Molech, right? That's a separate mitzvah. But you see Paro didn't. Where do you see? According to some, Paro was the one and only one that survived the Kriyas Yamsuf. So
Right.
Paro himself maybe escaped all punishment whatsoever. So here we see the possibility where we can discuss that the word Hamelech is reference to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that could be an explanation of why this kibbutz, which was ostensibly Shalol Hashem Shemayim, and therefore, according to the Mishnah Avos, would not endure. It in fact did endure, because here it could be that Hashem is directing the actions here, and even though that ostensibly Achashverosh was not doing it l'shem Shemayim, but being the medium by which Hakadosh Baruch Hu was bringing about the change in history that was about to take place. So therefore, the assembly of all these women in Shushan did in fact endure. Okay, let's take.
What does it mean that the kibbutz endured? There was a very temporary thing.
Well, I mean, no, exactly. As a matter of fact, I mean, he kept all the women around. Well, that was part of the whole thing. Once the women once they went to the king, they returned to the harem, and they had to remain in the harem forever and ever. They didn't return to civilian life. They had to remain in the royal harem. And if Achashverosh ever decided again to see one of them again, he would. Don't think that because Esther became queen, he didn't have interests in other women, right? That's not the way they do things. Esther herself said that she can't go to Achashverosh. She hasn't been seen for 30 days. You really think that Achashverosh was a celibate for those 30 days?
Aren't we more interested in when we're talking about that when we do things Shemayim, that we're talking about enduring for the benefit of the Jews. In other words, all these young girls that get thrown in the harem, what does that matter, so to speak? We're interested in the Jews being saved from.
That's what happened exactly because of this, because of what happened, because of what they were all brought there, and they were part of the plan to save the Jews, right?
Yes, yeah, that's true. But what is the enduring part? In other words, what did Hashem want? What did Mordechai know that Hashem wanted to happen?
No, one second, right? But we first of all, Mordecai. We introduced Mordecai, right? But Mordecai is not involved with this right now yet, right? Mordecai up at this point, Mordecai is completely passive, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Mordecai is completely passive. Let's see. We'll see more about this kibbutz of the women. Let's take a look at the next pasuk.
All right, so we're up to 9.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so that would be the T Tav Na'ara Be'enav Vatisa Chesed Lifanav Vaya Vahel Es Hataru Keha the Es Mino Seha Lases La the Ace Sheva Ha Nearos Hareuyos Lases La Mi Base Hamelech Vayisha Neha the Es Na'aroseha Litov Base Hanashim. Okay, so and the Nara, the young girl, pleased him. I'm wondering about calling her a Nara because wasn't she actually fairly old?
That's the machlokus in Meforshim, how old she actually was. Yeah, but again, let's go with the pasuk shot of the Megillah that Esther wasn't 400 years old or so, something like that at the time. The pasuk shot in the Megillah, she was pastors a Naira just like everybody else, and because it doesn't make sense that they're going to take a grandmother into the king's harem, right?
Right. Okay, so and she obtained kindness from him, and he gave her ointments and rations and 7 maids, which she chose out of the king's house. And he advanced her and her maids to the best place in the house of the women.
Oh. So right. So what's going on in this pasuk here exactly?
Well, she made a good impression on the eunuch that was in charge of the harem, and he helped her. He helped her out.
Again, how did they help? How did they help them out?
She was given good quality maids, and she was says he advanced her to the best place in the house. So she was given the best room, the bridal suite.
Right.
Haggai seems to have chosen her already, or realized that Ahasuerus would pick her.
Well, I mean, right now, yeah, she hasn't gone into the king now yet at all, right?
No.
Right.
This is simply in terms of the preparation to see the king. So, but even already, we see that Esther's already being primed for the placement.
So this also goes along with the fact that this is what Hashem wants. He wanted this eunuch to favor Esther and give her all the good makeup and the pretty dresses and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is what we call hishtadlus, right? There's certain hishtadlus that the Kadosh Baruch was having being done, right? So we see that the point of making this hishtadlus, even from the perspective of Kadosh Baruch Hu, meaning he didn't want it shouldn't have been a outright miracle, meaning the Gemara says that some say that Esther was green. She was green. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that means exactly. Green, green of complexion. I mean, I don't really know the pshat in the Gemara, but it's not. I don't think it's coming to say that she was good looking. Yeah. But
What do we learn from the fact that it says the king's house, not King Achashverosh's house?
one second, okay. Why does it say the king's house?
Does that imply that that there's intervention here and that Hashem is causing her to be favored?
Yeah, I would say so. Meaning when it refers to the king's plana, or well, I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. It just says the king's house, so I'm not sure if we apply that rule that it applies when you mention anytime the king or just Hamelech, or even if it applies to this case like the king's house. That I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we apply that rule. Possibly, I'd have to check. I'd have to check someone who would know a little bit better, more than me, that the how far we apply this rule. I'm not so sure. But okay. In the meantime, let's take a look at a Mishnah in Pierke Avos. It's on page 576. It's in the 5th chapter, and it's Tet Zion. The 5th chapter, Mishnah 16. Arba midas banosein tzedakah.
Okay, Arba Minos Binosein Tzedakah. Harotze sheyitain velo yitanu acherim eino ra'ah b'shel acharim. Yitanu acharim v'hu lo yitain. Eino ra'ah b'shelo yitain v'yitnu acherim chasid. Lo yitain v'lo yitnu acherim rasha. Okay, so there are 4 attributes among those who give charity. One who wants to give and others should not take.
Right.
He does not ra'ah. He begrudges that of others.
Right.
And that others should give and he should not. He is grudging towards what is his own. He's a miser.
Good.
That he should give and others too. He is pious. He's a chassid. That neither he nor others should give. He is wicked.
Very good. Okay. So now, how in terms of this pasuk, where do you think we can apply these words of Chazal and Avos to this pasuk here in the Megillah?
How to apply that to Pasuk 9 about the ointments and the et
Yeah,
cetera?
yeah. I'm trying to put a
And,
little
and giving
Ah.
seven maidens, all
Mm.
that.
right.
How does tzedakah apply to that?
Yeah. Well, again,
What's-
try to analyze the pasuk with the conceptual information you have from this Mishnah Avos.
I think
Well,
that
I would say that we would say that Haggai qualified as being that he should give to Esther, and that others should give to her, because he was trying to help her to benefit from what he was giving her, so that she would be chosen by the king.
Okay. Good. Roy, you wanted to mention a point or two?
similar to that, so I'll leave it. Yes.
You want to add anything to what Lou said?
No, I'll leave it. Thank you.
Okay. So you see that in terms of here this Haggai, right? He was giving certain favors to Esther, right? So again, we in this Mishnah Avos we have four categories. Can you categorize Haggai into falling into one of these four categories, perhaps?
Well, he gave to Esther, but he didn't give to anybody else.
Right. Right.
It's not like he gave to everybody,
Right.
all right?
Very good. Very
But
good.
we're, you know,
Yeah. What? Go ahead.
no, I'm saying, no, I'm trying to fit this in. I'm confused about this. Is Rebbe saying that one of these four categories applies to this pasuk?
I would like to try and pinpoint it if I could. I'm not sure if we can exactly. I'm trying to work it out a bit. If it's possible to, I'm trying to see if I can find a classification of these four categories where Haggai might fit into it.
One of the four.
One of the four, right?
Okay, so you're not saying that within this pasuk, all four categories are demonstrated.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
No, it's only one.
I was thinking one. Yeah, I was thinking one. Correct.
Well, the category that the chassid is the one who wants to give and he wants everybody else to give, right? That's the chassid.
Right.
Okay, so I'm having trouble seeing that where he wanted everybody else to give. What did he want? He wanted to give to Esther, and he wanted everybody else to give to Esther.
Not necessarily. We don't. See that in the book.
I don't see a connection, but maybe we can work it through.
There's a comment, footnote in the Siddur. Eino b'shel acharim. He begrudges. It's literally. It says it's his eye is evil with regard to others. He does not want them to accrue merit and blessing for their charitable act. alternatively, he begrudges the needy any extra charity. Um,
So what are you saying, that he begrudged the other young ladies,
Probably something like that.
he's
Yeah,
begrudging them?
I think so. He's more concerned about holding on. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's.
I don't know. I mean,
No, that could be twisted somehow, and I mean twisted to fit in like that.
Right. Okay, I tell you what, maybe it's 10 to 10 now. Maybe we can think about it during the course of the day. We'll pick up briefly and maybe just start again with this tomorrow, and then we can continue on maybe. How's that sound?
Okay. Oh, by the way, I think that Paro was was given a punishment. In that, I mean, if you got a little kid and you said, you behave yourself, if you don't behave yourself, I'm going to take away your toy. Well, Paro's toys were taken away. He was left with nothing.
and his children were killed. I mean, he got plenty of punishment.
Yeah. Although
His
later on he
firstborn guy.
became a king. He became a king again. Or
In Nineveh. In
Yeah.
Nineveh, right? Yeah.
But
It's not a
nonetheless-
contradiction, because Paro exercised free will in the beginning. It was only after the fifth plague that Hashem hardened his heart.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, look, they were obviously getting a lot of punishments, the Egyptians in general, and Pharaoh to a certain extent as well. But was Pharaoh? Can we say Pharaoh was? If Pharaoh was the one who was masterminding the whole servitude, the slavery of Klal Yisrael, the throwing the babies in the river, and the building the babies into the bricks, and causing all that sorrow for the Jews. Do you think he does it, at least from what we know in the Psukim? Did you see he got a punishment which seemed to approximate the deserving punishment he should have gotten for all he did to us?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
No.
Not in this world.
Hmm.
Maybe not in this world, but there are plenty of Rishayim that live a very good life up until the end. And then, they pay for it, in Gehenna.
Right. No, but
The fact that Paro was not punished at all, let's say, even if you want to make that case, that's on this earth. That's a test for us. When we see someone like Paro apparently not getting punished, that's a test for us to say Hashem knows. Hashem will take care of him.
Right.
In the long run.
Yes, definitely so. Definitely so.
All right.
Okay, we'll discuss this more, Mitzvah Shem, as we go along. Because we have to we can maybe tie Paro in with the punishment of Haman's punishment, with the punishment or lack of punishment to Paro, and Achashverosh and his seemingly lack of punishment to Paro as well. We can continue this line of discussion as we go further on in the Megillah, Mitzvah Shem. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Great
Rabbi Furst, everybody. See you guys later.
Okay. See you tomorrow, Roy.
Okay,
Have a good afternoon. Hope to see
see you later, Roy.